What is the purpose of C#'s nullable structure? This is really interesting. You see, from personal experience, when I ask this question, people are mostly correct. What they say is that C#'s value types need that nullable struct to work properly, but most of them never considered why. So let me ask you this question. Why C# value types need nullable struct to work properly? And if you answer that value types can't be null, well, why can't they? Let's find out. What? You probably already know that we have value types and reference types. So types that are inherited from struct are the value types in C#. So the value types are usually allocated in stack, well, with some exceptions. Structs are considered value types and setting null is not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
But how can C# nullable struct hold a null value? Well, the answer for that, well, it doesn't. The value for the underlying T struct is undefined, and if you try to resolve it when an internal property has value is false, an invalid operation exception will be thrown. Why? But why? Why do we need nullable syntactic sugar? A reference type is stored as a pointer to an object instance. So this pointer allocated in stack and contains some memory address. Null means that a reference pointer that isn't pointing to anywhere. But value types are stored as the values themselves without any references. Therefore, it doesn't make any sense to have a null value. Value type is either allocated in stack or it is not. Which brings us to a simple fact. Value types are by definition contain a value. When? Well, best example for that would be a filter. Imagine you have a REST API which accepts a search filter DTO. You would like to filter your transactions by date time and total price where both of those are being struck. So since most of the time all filters are optional, the user may not specify them. That being said, in your DTOs, there will be a nullable datetime and a nullable total price. Then later, depending on has value property of those, you will choose whether to filter or not. Another example, imagine you're building a database application that stores information about people. For simplicity, let's just say that one of the fields in your database is the person's age represented as an integer. Using a regular int for this case would cause problems if you wanted to represent the fact that the person's age is unknown. You could use some sort of a sentinel value like -1 to indicate that the person's age is unknown, but this is not really an elegant solution. A better approach would be to use a nullable int data type to represent the person's age. This would allow you to assign a value of null to indicate that it is unknown without having a special sentinel value. You could use the hasValue property to check if it's there or not.